Yo, yo. What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me get this together real quick. Uh, Let me flip over here to a couple different joints here. Let's start that there, and let's also start X, right? Okay. Now, let me slide over here, get that going. Because I had technical difficulties. All right. Okay, now we back, right? And let me shine that up real quick. Send that over. Let me send this one here over real quick, right? Okay. Share that out. Get this acclimated. I also have to flip back. I gotta do a lot of sharing because my other page is my other page they it's acting up. I don't know if I'm getting banned, not banned, but I don't know. Shadow, what do you call it? Shadow banned or whatever. But it is what it is, right? So, and then I need to go ahead and slide over here to Twitter and get that posted up. So, okay, there we go. All right, we working now, right? So we working. All right, we working good. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. I think we cooking with grease now. Um, Pretty good week, man. Pretty good week, bro. Straight up, pretty good week. Uh, definitely, definitely pretty good week. Last night, preseason basketball, caught a couple blowouts. Y'all already know what the deal is with that. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that, right? So it is what it is with that situation. Um, Early looks. If you ain't getting on the early lines and stuff like that, then I don't know what you're doing, right? Yesterday we had early lines drop, especially for my prop bettors out there. This week in the NFL, we got a bunch of good games here. So you rather be as early as you can to the party, and that comes with some of these pick'em sites. Lo and behold, you do have to parlay some of these. I know I'm a straight guy, but you're gonna have to parlay some of these, and that's it is what it is with that. Or if you just want to be put on notice for what we got in store coming up, be my guest. You can check that out as well. So, um, and definitely I'm on the new on my old my other page, my podcast page, my sports betting page is acting up right now. So I don't know why. So, but at the end of the day, I still got other platforms that I could sync on. YouTube, Twitter, we live there as well. Um, so um, Speaking of Twitter, let me make sure everything is good over there before I get started. Okay, everything twerking over there as well. All right, not trying to make this all long and all that. I'm gonna go through some of the spots and stuff like that, right? So and tell you what I have locked in already, right? So this is one game that I didn't really, not my favorite game, that Thursday night game. We'll touch on that individually, probably Wednesday morning. But a little bit more of a look ahead spot right now. And like I said, on other books like Prize Picks and things like that, which is fantasy sites, but they still have lines out, right? So these lines will continue to move. None of the regular books have lines out. So right now in my player pool, some spots that I really like to get to. I got some like I got like 12 spots to the side. It's definitely more, and I'm gonna go through those spots real quick, right? Not real quick, but I'm gonna go through them, right? And we'll see what's gonna happen. So, first game on the docket here, we're looking at Denver Broncos and New Orleans Saints, right? But we got a 36.5 over under in this spot. Not a big time fan of this game overall. Bo Nix, he's been out there running, looking pretty good in the running game, stuff like that. But, maybe him and Sutton starting to get it together. Like I said, this game here, I don't like it. Two rookie quarterbacks will be going at it. Both of these guys are mobile. We'll see, right? Best two players on the field probably be Sutton on one side, on the Denver Broncos side. Then you're gonna have Alvin Kamara on the other side. Now, I don't even really want to get into this one here. Tell you the truth. Let me see. Right now, we do got Kamara receiving yards sitting at 33.5 and Cortland Sutton at 45.5. Both of these guys been flirting with that number recently. So it's not out of realm of possibilities. Probably something I won't be going to though. I mean, I will be going to just to have some action that Thursday night, but I'm just gonna take a rain check on this one and wait till Wednesday, right? Wednesday morning to get a full overview of this game, right? Shit. But if you want to get on early lines, it's just not my favorite game. A 36.5 is just not my favorite game. I do like fireworks to be, I like fireworks, right? So I think this will be the third or fourth game in a row. Jacksonville will be in London, and that's right now. This will be their, this is home for them, right? Right now we have an over under of 205. 442.5 in this spot here. We got the Patriots. We got Jacksonville. Drake May got to start. Drake May looked good, man. He threw more touchdowns than Brissett threw all year, right? So that's one thing there. One guy I'll be looking at, he's not on the books. He's not anywhere right now, but somebody that you're going to have to take a look at. If you got your pen and paper, you might want to write this down. It's going to be Demario Douglas, right? I don't see Demario Douglas out here anywhere in the streets. So, if I want to check anybody's line, I can just type it in right here, Demario Douglas. But there he is, right there. Oh, okay. You know what? I did add Demario Douglas, right? So, the thing about Demario Douglas here is, so we don't have any lines out for him. So I put him in my player pool right here as a reminder, or whatever the case may be. But we can take a look at some of the numbers, right? I don't know if this if these logs normally get updated around Tuesday, Wednesday-ish, fully all the way through, but we'll take a look and see if his game log is updated. Demario Douglas here, New England, wide receivers. Then we'll go to Demario Douglas here. Wait, teams. I didn't click on the team. New England. And wide receivers here. Oh, please. Would you please? Okay, thank you. Dang. Demario Douglas right here at the top, right? So we do have week 6 up there, right? So three of his he's 50% to 9 targets, right? And that's pretty good. So you're gonna get places like Prize Picks, for example. They don't have all their props out right now and their prop categories, but you do get targets, right? So, anybody who knows me, I like to bet targets and things of that nature, right? So, targets are something that you can look at, receptions as well. So later on in the week, those numbers will come out. But to get ahead of the curve, early lines are always the best lines. You can take a look at his targets, his snap share, and all that, right? So right now, we're looking at Demario Douglas. First game Drake May started, got 9 targets, 6 receptions, and 1 touchdown. Right, his receptions been coming out around 3.5. Okay, so that's something that I like right there. Going up against Jacksonville, love to target Jacksonville. Definitely do. Looking at the defense versus position, the secondary, we can actually look at the wide receivers. Defensive versus pass catching. We can look at the wide receivers here, and we can see that Jacksonville, they aren't the greatest, right? Targets, you got receptions here, mediocre, not lime green and nothing like that. So they can be had. Touchdowns here to the wide receivers, they've been giving them up. They right here in like the third tier. You got the bright red with Baltimore and Washington, which we'll get to those guys. Carolina and Houston, they giving up 9 to the wide receivers. Then you got Jacksonville sitting here in this 8 range, right? And 4 of those, I want to say 3 of those came versus my Chicago Bears last week. But at the end of the day, Jacksonville hasn't been looking good in that secondary. If you want to look at some quarterback props or something like that, you can look at the yardage here, and you can look at defenses versus the pass, which is the quarterback solely. Jacksonville, the temps are up for quarterbacks. Completions are, looking, they're not green, right? So 286, definitely red, probably, definitely red right there. And touchdowns, just, so they've given up the most touchdowns to quarterbacks in the league, right? Whether that's throwing it to a wide receiver, throwing it to a tight end, or throwing it to the running back. Now I could have sworn I seen that. I don't know who Jared Goff caught that touchdown against, but man, they could be in that category. I think it was versus Jacksonville. Don't give me the line though, but we'll see. But at the end of the day, we definitely targeting Jacksonville, right? So Demario Douglas is somebody that we're going to be looking at. And then quarterbacks, Drake May, it'll be his second game, right? It'll be his second game, but take a look at what Drake May did. I could take a look at what Drake May did right here. First game started. It looks pretty good, bro. Straight up. So quarterbacks, New England here. Drake May versus Houston, 20 of 33, 60% completion percentage, 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, right? So he had 243 yards. Don't know if we got a Drake May prop out. I'll search for one. If we can get a Drake May prop out here at, let's see. Drake May right now. Drake May, they have passing TDs, rushing yards. They don't have, nobody's listed as passing yards yet. I'd imagine his passing yards going to come out at about, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you what they're going to open up at. Truthfully, I can't. Rush yards, he was out there running the ball. We know he runs the ball. He had 38 rushing yards last game. Wouldn't be surprised if he go over this number, sitting at 33.5. I might add him to my picks just to take a look at, keep him in my pick list, but who knows, right? On the flip side, they do have their kid Gonzalez over there, a corner in New England. But at the end of the day, don't know if I'll be targeting him. But I know who I will target. Regardless of the matchup, they're just gonna have to go ahead and hit me upside the head. I'm gonna be looking at Evan Ingram here, but I might want to. I'll take his 45. I'm taking his 45, right? I'm taking his 45. I do have him penciled in over here. Evan Ingram right here, sitting at 45.5 right now. This season here, he was hurt for 1 or 2 games. Just went up to my Chicago Bears and just aired him out, right? He is a primary target here for probably 1A, number 1 receiver, or 1A, 1B, however you want to look at it. But Evan Ingram has been a reliable source for somebody like, damn, I forget their quarterback name. Trevor, right? But he's been a reliable source for him. Evan Ingram's yard sitting at 45.5. You can look at his yardage, or later on within the week, you can look at his targets prop, or you can look at his receptions prop, right? So I'd imagine his reception prop is going to come out around 4.5, maybe 5.5. If it comes out at 4.5, let me get the over there. 5.5, I'll think about it. But he's coming off 102 pass receiving yards versus my Chicago Bears. In that span, he had 10 receptions on 10 targets. So he was definitely eating our ass for lunch. But, Chicago Bears, my Chicago Bears, we do have a pretty good secondary. So we pretty much did our job when it came to holding down the receivers there, right? So Evan Ingram is a guy that I already have in my player pool right here. So Evan Ingram is somebody that I'm looking at along with Demario Douglas, right? And it says touchdown for Demario Douglas, but I just got him in there just so I don't forget about him. Tennessee Titans, Buffalo Bills, right? So at the end of the day here, Buffalo Bills. If you caught the video yesterday, well, I dropped it on YouTube. And we go, I explained how bad this Buffalo Bills defense is versus the running backs, whether it's the passing game, whether it's the running game, right? So defense versus pass catchers, we can look at the running back. This is like a broken record. We're going right back over this again, right? So and you've seen it come to fruition last night with Breece Hall. So they averaged 8.3 targets on the season to the running back. This is to defense versus pass catchers to the running back, right? Averaging 6 catches on the season, 61 yards on the season, almost 9 yards per catch. Air yards sitting at 7.3 for a running back. Red zone targets, 3 touchdowns to the running back. And this is in pass catching, right? So Buffalo has been, and then Breece Hall goes out there and does his thing last night through the air, right? He also had 100 yards receiving, okay? Looking at So Buffalo, they in the orange here, right? And this is defense versus the run. We're looking at the running backs right now, right? This is defense versus the run. So Buffalo, they're in the red, right? They're in the mediocre right now. Don't know. I don't think that. I'm not a big fan of their rush defense. I'll just tell you that. Now, we're gonna have some injury concern here, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out on the injury situation here, because last week, if you caught the stream last week, we took Pollard. We took Pollard for a touchdown last week, and he cashes us in, right? So at the end of the day, we're going to the running backs here. Then we're going to go to Tennessee. Tennessee. I expect Tennessee to try to give these guys a heavy dosage of running backs, right? So Tyjae Spears, he had 6 attempts. I think Tyjae Spears did get hurt, right? So then they got this kid back there. Who was that? Chestnut? Whatever, right? At the end of the day, going up against Indy, that Swiss cheese defense in Indy, but you could look at some of the, I'll just filter it to all Tony Pollard, right? So you can see his attempts right here, his carries and stuff, they've been pretty good, right? Green Bay, right here, he only had 6 attempts. Don't quote me if he's got hurt, or he probably, it probably was a negative game script, meaning they couldn't run the ball because they probably fell behind and they probably have to pass. I have to go back and see. At the end of the day, though, but the attempts are there. 17 attempts versus Indianapolis. Miami gave him 22 attempts there. He's got a touchdown in 2 back-to-back games there. 17 attempts versus the Jets for 62 yards. And versus my Chicago Bears, he gashed us up. He gave us a touchdown, and then he had 16 attempts. If he might presumably see a bigger workload this week here, and I don't mind taking him for a touchdown, or maybe it's rushing and reception yards, something like that, right? So he's going to be an interesting candidate here. I didn't check to see what he did in the passing game, so let me take a look. And he probably be in line for a couple more passes as well. So that will put him in line to possibly have a good day, right? So looking at Tennessee here, um, let's see what he does in the passing game. Just Tony Pollard alone. So he's had multiple catches in each game here. And like I said, if Tajay Spears is out, he might see one or two more targets, right? So right here, as you can see, he had 2 red zone targets week 2 versus the Jets. But the yardage, a couple more targets is, just adds more fuel to the fire, right? If Tajay Spears is out, I expect him to get at least 4 targets, maybe 5, right? And that's just, more targets, more playing time, more snaps equal more opportunities, right? So, Tony Pollard is somebody that's going to be on my radar. He's hit his rushing props, I want to say 3 or 4 out of his last 5 games. Right now, his rushing prop is sitting at, let's see, did I add Pollard over here? Right. So his rushing prop right now is sitting at 63.5. He's hit this number in 3 of his last 5 games this year. And the one game right here, he missed it by 2 versus the Jets. And then, like I said, he'll be going up against a team in Buffalo that you could probably look at his when the lines drop, because those lines aren't out. You could probably look at his receiving his receiving props or rushing plus receiving yards. They also have that prop, so keep an eye out on him, right? So I got him on my radar, right? That was the Tennessee Titans. Buffalo Bills. I'm gonna take a rain check on the Buffalo Bills right now and see how it shakes out with Cook. Tennessee Titans defense is pretty good, right? But offense needs to keep them off the field, and we also need to see what's up with Will Levis for Tennessee, because he's been terrible. He's been trash, right? So it's a lot we need to unfold before Sunday. Houston, Texas at Green Bay Packers. We got an over under of oops, I pushed the wrong one. Let me run it back here, right? This here is going to be one of those games, okay? So, I didn't really, I need to look more into this game, but what I do have set to the side here, and I'm getting ready to play it right now. I have both teams to score 1 touchdown in each half. If anybody knows me, this is one of my favorite props. Doesn't matter how they do it, a run back, whatever the case may be. We got 2 potent offenses that I think could, can go out there and score, right? So you'll get this for a plus 118 here until I figure out, which way I want to, take any props. Any wide receiver props and stuff like that. Tank Dell is somebody that I'll be looking at for sure. I tend, teams with decent number 2s. I've always liked to target the number 2s a lot. But Diggs, he's shown the ability to get loose as well. And then on the Green Bay Packers side, one of my least favorite teams. If anybody knows me, they know that, especially by Chicago Bears being my people. But at the end of the day, I think there's a pathway for both teams to score a touchdown in each half. You'll get that at plus 118. I'll take a rain check on the props here, right? I might have to go back and take a look at Tank Dell though. Let me take a look. Let me see if I can find Tank Dell. I might have to take a look at Tank Dell. Let's see. So, Tank Dell, right now they have his receptions yards sitting at 61.5. I have interest in the over there. I do, right? But maybe I'll be. They don't have his receptions props out. So if his receptions comes out around 4.5, I'm taking that, right? As you can see right here, his first game without Nico Collins here, he has 7 receptions on 9 targets. So his target share is going up. definitely I like me some target, some Tank Dell. I'll be looking at Tank Dell for his reception prop. So I actually will put him over there to the side here so I don't forget him, and I'll just wait till later on in the week when his reception props come out, and I'll definitely lock him in. Right, I do play for volume, so I have a lot of plays going each week. Right, I have a lot of plays going each week, but that's why I come on here. Give you guys what I like, what I see. You know what I'm saying, and a little bit of information. I'll give you guys a visual, and then you can work with it from there, right? But make no mistake, I'm on YouTube primarily. That's where you're gonna find me every single day, right? Don't look now, but we got the Miami Dolphins at Indianapolis Colts, right? So don't look now, but this defense, secondary, and that is terrible, right? So taking a look at this Indianapolis defense here. Defense versus the pass. So a lot of this stuff is not reflecting it's not reflecting too bad, but they're bad, right? They're bad, right? So this is versus the quarterback, right? So let's take a look at versus the wide receiver, who will be betting on things of that nature, right? So Indianapolis, so yards. Yards per catch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They top 5 in yards per catch. Touchdowns. What is this here? So a lot of this ain't updated, right? That's because this is the run. Tripping, man. Y'all should have said something. So the wide receivers right here, right? Bang, right? So this is what I'm looking for. So they're 2, 3, 4. They like in that 1, 2, 3. They can like 3, 4-ish tier when it comes to giving up touchdowns, but they've given up a fair share of touchdowns, right? Here's their line at the end of the day. Indianapolis here, yardage wise to wide receivers in general, they in top 10. Yards per catch, definitely, I'm quite sure they're in top 10 here. Yards per catch. Air yards, Indianapolis, top 5. Red zone targets, Indianapolis, top 6. And then touchdowns, so at the end of the day, damn, they're from the bench. They about to bench Fields. At the end of the day, they just middling out, right? And their defense overall is not good either, I want to say. Because when you look at versus the run here, let's see. I guess their defense is worse versus the run. So there's no balance to this offense. To this defense here. This is defense versus run, the running backs, right? As you can see here, let's see, yardage here. Let's see, yardage. Indianapolis top 5 in yardage. Yards per carry. Let's see, Indianapolis. Where's Indianapolis at? So they down there, right? They down there in yards per carries. But at the end of the day, here's their line right here. So teams are running the ball, showing the ability to run the ball versus this team. It's just not the super good defense. So then you got somebody like Tyreek Hill coming into the fold, right? So we know that we know that Tua is hurt, right? But we also know Hundley. I want to say Hundley came in right here, right on the September 30th, not knowing nothing about nothing, right? The offense or nothing. Then, so he had, Tyreek Hill had 23 yards. Okay, right? Okay. So next game, Hundley learns. The quarterback is Hundley. He learns a little bit more about the playbook, things like that. They run across New England, and then bang, right? He goes out for 69 yards. He goes out for 69 yards. He has 6 receptions on 10 targets. Okay, so now right here. We don't see it, but they had a bye. So right now, that means a week off. So now they're coming off a week with more chances to, gel with the wide receivers. And you're gonna give me Tyreek Hill receiving yards at 54.5 versus a mediocre secondary. You might as well sign me up, right? And if you really want to, double dip. You could take his teammate. You could take Jalen Waddle's yardage as well, and the same thing goes for Jalen Waddle. Same thing I was saying for Tyreek Hill. He's got 36. The first game Hundley started, he didn't know much. Right here, boom, gave him 36. He had 36 receiving yards. Right. Then the next game, he goes out versus New England. He hits his receiving props at 39, at 46 yards. The target share, whatever, the receptions and targets. So he had 8 targets that game on 4 receptions. Tyreek Hill had 10 targets, right? Then, boom, they go on a bye. Boom. Now this Sunday, more time to figure things out. Don't be surprised if You can. I'm taking them both, right? I'm taking it over both. One of them gonna get there. If not, both of them gonna get there, right? So it is what it is. All right. So I like Waddle. I like Waddle and Hill, and I've already and I like Demario Douglas on the other side for I like Demario Douglas on the other side. No, I'm sorry. They're playing Indianapolis Colts. This is a rain check for me to see who's going to be starting. If Flacco starts, then of course I'm going to like the receivers. If Flacco doesn't start, unfortunately, I'm not going to like the Indianapolis Colts receivers. Because for obvious reasons, he's not very good at passing the football. What's the boy's name? The quarterback. It is what it is, though. Seattle Seahawks, Atlanta Falcons. We got this one here. Should be one of those games. Should be one of those games, right? So, before I even get into things here, this is one of those games here where I like both teams to score a touchdown in each half. You get it for a -116 right now. Seattle Seahawks, there's going to be plenty firepower in that on the field, right? So until I figure out how I want to dissect this game and who I want to bet on as far as player props, because I didn't really nail it down yet, but definitely you can look at Metcalf, right? You could also look at the receiving core for Seattle looks pretty good, right? So I have to figure it out, but I do like this. The -116, both teams to score a touchdown in each half. If you feel like there's going to be fireworks, you can get both teams to score 2 touchdowns in each half at +130. All they got is didn't happen already a couple times this year already, and these teams come out there and strike fast. It could happen, right? So I'm going to take a rain check on the props here. Just off the top of my head, I'm going to end up liking probably Mooney, and I'm going to end up liking DJ Metcalf as well. It seems like the Drake London. It's like those guys, they don't really turn it on. It's like he don't really turn it on to the second half. And then it's hard for me to mess around, to like Bijan Robinson because Algier is breathing down his back. So that running back split is kind of weird. And then don't look now, but you have you, you got Kyle Pitts, man. He's out there balling, right? So he's playing better than he's played in his whole damn career. And he came out as being, having, was one of the highly touted tight end coming out. So 3 of his last 4 games, he's had monster games. 59 yards here. He had 88 yards here, and he had 70 yards there. So it's probably it's definitely the Kurt effect, but I need a little bit more time to look at the props there. But definitely locking in that both teams to score 1 touchdown in each half at a -116. Okay. Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants, right? So definitely want to see. We got an over under 43.5 in this one here. The New York Giants defense has been okay, but you got Saquon coming back to his old team. This is going to be wild as hell, right? At the end of the day, it's going to be wild. Need to see if Malik Neighbors is going to be, back from his concussion. I imagine so because I need to start him in my fantasy. But I imagine Malik Neighbors will be back. I'm going to end up having, liking Malik Neighbors. I don't have a problem with targeting the secondary, especially with somebody who gets as much volume as Malik Neighbors. Then on the flip side, you got the Philadelphia Eagles. And AJ Brown is AJ Brown. You can already look at him for a longest target, whatever the case may be. We know who he is, right? So while the defense focuses on AJ Brown, they do have a reliable receiver on the other side, and that'll be Devontae Smith. Whether A.J. Brown was in or A.J. Brown was out, Devontae Smith continues to hit his receiving prop. As you can see, he's 4 for 4 to this number this year at 61.5. I haven't gotten there. It's a strong lean. I think I'm taking the over, though. I'll tell you this. I wouldn't take the under. He's 100% to this number on the season. Take what you like, leave what you don't, right? So it is what it is, right? Devontae Smith is reaping all the benefits of somebody because they're going to have to make a count for A.J. Brown. You seen that bread basket catch he made last week? Man, A.J. Brown's a beast. But at the end of the day, you can't forget about Devontae Smith. And then if you want to look at the receptions and targets, because that's another play that I might take a look at instead of his yardage, I expect his receptions to probably come out around 4.5, no more than that. No more than 4.5, or I ain't going. So 3 of his last 4 games, he's had 7 receptions. Then he's had 8 targets here, 10 targets here, 10 targets here. 4 targets versus Cleveland. Cleveland has defense a little here and there, right? Tight game, 16-20. So it is what it is. Speaking of Cleveland, on the flip side, I know people are gonna be mad at me, whatever case may be, but who cares, right? Amari Cooper, I just can't deny the volume that he's getting. I want to get his reception props. As you seen that parlay that we did on Prize Picks, I think he was the only one missed by 1 catch, so we ended up doubling our money. But that was a 6 pick. We went 5 for 6 there. But at the end of the day, looking at his numbers here, I'll be looking at him for his receptions again. He's had 4 receptions in 3 straight games. So if it comes out, I imagine his reception is going to come out at 4.5. You can take a look at his yardage as well, right? So 50.5. It's just that Deshaun Watson has been terrible. But you're gonna get Chubb back. I know he'll probably be limited. But then you got Ford. Ford might be out, right? So that's another thing. And I didn't look at these guys versus tight end. So right now, I didn't sprinkle on Cooper yet. I'll keep it as a lean because I do need to take a look at David Njoku, right? So I forgot all about that. So while we're right here, let's see if I can probably find David Njoku. And there he is, right? Bang. David Njoku. which right now they only have a touchdown prop out for him. So we have to wait and see what type of numbers we can get for him, right? So they don't have any numbers out for him, but I will tell you he just came back from injury. I don't expect his reception prop to be more than 3.5. I will take a look at the defenses versus tight ends so we can get a good look at how this can be. So I might end up going going him over Amari Cooper here. So what do we got here? One second, man. Let me just do something on this phone real fast. Mm. All right, my fault, y'all. Quick intermission, but it is what it is. Yeah. So where's Philly and how they are? How are they versus tight end? They look pretty good there, but sometimes when you got good players like David Njoku, they can definitely trump. They can definitely trump. Good good defenses. All right. So I kind of had that messed up, right? Cleveland Browns is going up against Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm sorry there. So let's go back and I'm glad I caught that, right? So Cincinnati, and we know Cincinnati Bengals defense ain't been what it's supposed to been. And looking at the tight end position here, they have given up some touchdowns there. So they're in that second tier of touchdownism. They've given up 3 touchdowns to the tight end position, right? And then we can rewind it back and go look at the wide receivers there. Let's see. Who was that? Cincinnati. So they've given up 5 touchdowns to the wide receiver spot there. We'll see what's going to happen. But for the volume and things like that, those are 2 guys, Amari Cooper and David Njoku. Those are 2 guys that you can look at. So I'll pump my brakes on that. But a play that I know I'm playing, and I can't resist it. And we're 2 for 2 versus this play the last 2 weeks here. We're definitely going to look at. We're going to T. Higgins, right? So on the other side, we're going to T. Higgins there. Right now, we only got his yardage prop out, and he's hit this number in back-to-back games. We cashed on both of this. I didn't play his yardage. I played his receptions, right? So I'll probably keep it, still looking at the receptions. I'll probably keep it in the receptions category, but you can't deny what he's been doing. Anytime you got Jamar Chase over there, he garners special attention, right? And T. Higgins ain't no punk, so he's been over there on the other side doing motherfuckers dirty, right? So 6 receptions, 9 receptions, 7 receptions. If his receptions come back out at 4.5. Right back on it again, right? There's a slight possibility that his receptions come out at 5.5, and I'll think about it because I don't like the pace that this game could be played at. Cleveland, they shows instances where their defense can, be okay at times, but at the end of the day, I'm going to. At the end of the day, I'm going to pay close attention to when the rest of T. Higgins props come out. So 62.5 is definitely doable. If you want to jump on that right now, you can get this on Prize Picks right now. right? That's the only book that's got it out. And like I said, we know who Jamar Chase is. We know Jamar Chase. We know he's in play, right? We know this. If they put special attention on Jamar Chase over there, T. Higgins is going to eat their ass for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It just is what it is, right? Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings, right? That division is pretty tough, man. So, thoughts on this game here, right? First and foremost, I do have this game over here as a candidate for both teams to score a touchdown in each half. You get it at a -104 for both teams to score one touchdown, and you'll get it at a +1480 for both teams to score two touchdowns, right? So, this game here, Minnesota Vikings still undefeated, bro, right? My opinion, I don't know, right? Minnesota Vikings at home. Man, I'd have to lean towards the Vikings in this spot. As much as I love the Detroit story and stuff like that, I'm not laying no money on it right now. I'll watch this line, but I like the Vikings for some reason, right? I like the Vikings here. They have TJ Hockenson back. You got arguably the best wide receiver in the league. They have some defense, right? We got an over under 49.5 in the spot. Jones, they have a running back. I forget the other kid on the other side. I mean, Vikings coming off a bye. For right now, I'm gonna lean towards the Vikings, but I'm not, I'm not betting anything on that yet. I'm betting. I'm taking the toast. These teams score a touchdown and a half, right? And don't be surprised if they can score two. You know what I'm saying? Man. So look at that defensive versus position, right? So I'll tell you something about these two teams. So these two teams have been kicking ass and taking names. That's number one. Defenses versus the pass. As of right now, you see you're gonna have Detroit here, yardage wise, right? This Detroit defense here. Then you got Minnesota defense here. Game script has the opposing teams passing on these guys, right? Because these teams get off to a lead so quick, it screws the numbers. Then you look at defenses versus the run. You're going to get teams like this that are going to be very good versus the run because Detroit and then you got Minnesota right here, very good versus the run because why? They running out there putting up points on teams and teams got to play catch up. How do you catch up? You pass the ball. So a lot of teams are passing a lot on these teams because they're falling behind. They have to abandon the run, right? So can Minnesota go out there and run the ball? Yes, they can. Is Jones going to play? I think Jones is a little banged up. Got to keep an eye out on that situation. But if Minnesota can establish the run, they can beat them. They can beat them because Minnesota they got one of the best wide receivers in the game, and they can pass the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, you got that perfect, but you got a team like Detroit, which can do the same thing. So it's a lot of factors that go into this game here, right? You can look at this game. You can perhaps look at the under here. You know what I'm saying? If you got two offenses that can run the ball and pass the ball, it's a chess match now, and that chess match is going to be between the coaches. Okay, so I don't bet a lot of games, so I don't know how to attack this. I don't know how to attack this. Right? I do think both teams can score a touchdown in each half. You'll get that at a minus, at a plus. You get that on a minus 104, right? I'll roll with that, and I got plenty of time to think about. Plenty of time to think. I'm not gonna bet this. I'm not gonna. I'm leaning towards Minnesota, man. I lean towards Minnesota. I'm gonna just tell you that right there. All the props, whatever the prop. I don't bet Detroit Lions props a lot because you never know where the fucking damage is gonna come from, right? So that's one thing. That's one thing when it comes to Detroit Lions. So we're in me, right? So we'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen. That's all I can say. Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Rams, right? So the departure of that's crazy. That's just crazy, right? That's just crazy, right? Devontae Adams is going back to the Jets, and this is weird right here. This shit is gonna be crazy, right? All them Aaron Rodgers fans. But hey, it is what it is. We talked about the Raiders, and we talking about the Rams. So Cooper Kupp, keep an eye out for that news. See how he progresses this week. It's possible he'll be coming back, and I want to say this is probably no better time to come back than versus the Las Vegas Raiders, right? So that's one thing. Next thing, if he doesn't come back, we're going to be looking at, we know who Matt Stafford is, and we know what he does, right? He turns guys into stars for some damn reason, right? He gives these receivers a lot of volume, and you better go out there and catch the ball, right? So we're going to look at a game log real quick, and we're going to point one guy out, and here's the guy that you're going to have to take a look at, and you're going to have to, because Matthew Stafford can lock on, right? That's just what he does. So we're going to look at the LA. We're going to look at LA here, right? And then we're going to go to unchecked Tony Pollard. We're going to go to Jordan Whittington, right? So, and this is ball carriers. We're looking for receivers. Now, uncheck Tony Pollard. Now, last 2 weeks, okay? Jordan Whittington versus the Bears, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 62 yards. It is what it is, right? He locked on to him. You know what Stafford does? He locked on to Puka Nacua. He locked on to Cooper Kupp. Now it's looking like he's trying to lock on to this kid, Jordan Whittington. Versus Green Bay, 10 targets, 7 receptions, 89 yards. From week to week, his rapport is getting better and better with this kid, right? So that's one receiver that you need to take a look at and keep an eye out on. Jordan Whittington, okay? So he's going to be on my radar. Got a long time to figure out if I want to bet on him or not. But at the end of the day, none of his lines are out right now, so it is what it is. Just want to point that out, put that out there, right? Next player we're going to be looking at, my favorite tight end in the league right now, and it's going to be we're looking at Brock Bowers, okay? So he's been pretty good here, especially his last 2 games, right? Got the rookie starting right now, and they picked up right where he's left off at with Gardner Minshew. So last 2 games for him, 12 targets, 8 receptions, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Come right back versus Pittsburgh, efficient, 9 for 10, 9 receptions on 10 targets, 71 yards, 1 red zone targets. It is what it is, right? At the end of the day, Brock Bowers has been a monster since he's been in the league. Back, even week 2 versus Baltimore, he had 9 targets, 9 receptions. Week 1, eight receptions on 6 targets. He's been pretty good. Right here, one of these games he got hurt, and then I don't know what happened to this other game, but it is what it is, right? So I'll be looking at Whittington, and I'll be looking at Brock Bowers. They don't have any lines out for those guys, so I had to show you guys that right there from the game log. So it is what it is, right? Don't care how these teams rank up against these guys, right? Then you got Kyron, damn, I forget his name, right? Kyron, what's his name? Kyron Williams, right? So this guy is, his usage for him is off the chain, right? So Kyron Williams is somebody I want to know if Cooper Kupp is going to be in, because he can definitely affect some of their usage. But Kyron Williams has been a monster. Okay, he's been definitely being a monster. Couldn't talk off any of his numbers. Carolina Panthers, Washington Commanders, 305 game, right? This game here is another candidate, right? I have these teams to score. I have both teams to score a touchdown in each half. And you can see it's favored to the over and only at a minus 128. So, Vegas expect these boys to score. I expect these boys to score. It's getting at a minus 128 right there, right? So it is what it is, right? Total is over at 51.5. Okay. Now, Jacksonville. Who is that? That's Carolina. Carolina's got one of the trashiest defense in the league. Okay, Carolina. So, not good, not super good. But this is towards the quarterbacks. I'm looking at the wide receivers here. I'm looking at the run, especially the run. Let's start with the run. Let's start with the run here. Carolina, right? They've given up 12. Look at that. They're the only team. Let me see. They're the only team that's in the red, bro. They're giving up 12 rushing touchdowns. Red zone attempts, yards per carry, yards. They're giving up the most yards. Just terrible, man. Just terrible versus the run, right? Versus the running back. So whoever's going to be back there in the running back, is definitely going to be in play here. You can also look at the quarterback here, right? Let's see, yards, touchdowns. Okay, I ain't going to look at the quarterback, but you got back there. You got Jaden Daniels back there. Now, the wide receivers, Carolina, touchdowns, right? They've given up the second most touchdowns to wide receivers. So the defense is trash. They're giving up the second most touchdowns to wide receivers, and they're also giving up the most touchdowns to running backs. That means they're getting their ass beat up on, right? You can look at things a multitude of ways. You can look at the total. You can look at team totals, individual team totals. If this game is sitting at 51.5, I'd expect to watch the Commanders team total to probably be 27.5 or something like that. I haven't checked. We could probably. I don't know if they're going to be out. If they're out right now, let's see. Team totals probably not out right now. Let's look at scoring. Would it be in the scoring category? Let's see. Team total. They don't have it out right now. So at the end of the day, I'll be interested to see what the team totals look like. Right now, receivers. Y'all know what time it is. I got both of these guys on my fantasy team. I'm firing them both up, right? I didn't take a look at the Washington side, right? So Washington has been vulnerable since last year in that secondary, right? So looking at the wide receivers, as you can see here, Washington has given up 10 touchdowns to wide receivers through week 6, and they've given up more touchdowns to wide receivers than Carolina has, right? So that's one thing. Then we go up here to the run. Let's see. Where Washington is, Washington gives up a decent amount of yards per carry, right? So Washington, right now on the season, is averaging 5 yards per carry. That's giving up 5 touchdowns, but the yards per carry and yardage overall, that's where they're giving up. They're vulnerable. They're vulnerable. They can be vulnerable. Okay, they can be had. All right. So that's you don't know who the running back's going to be, because you got the rookie kid stepping up sooner or later, but Chuba Hubbard has been running the ball pretty good, right? So I couldn't talk you off a touchdown for Chuba Hubbard. Neither one of these wide receivers here. These are the top 2 teams in the league that's giving up most touchdowns to the wide receivers, I want to say, right? Yeah. So is it the top 2 teams? Yeah, Washington at 10, Carolina at 9. Now, in those regards, Deontay Johnson. I like Deontay Johnson. However you want to take it, right? 3 of his last 4 games, since Andy Dalton's been in there, he's been rocking and rolling, right? Against the Bears, go figure. We got one of the best, if not the best, secondary. That unit we got over there in Chicago is lit. But at the end of the day, we're here versus Chicago, not so good. But he gave Vegas 122, Cincinnati 83. He gave Atlanta 78. And the targets, he's a target monster, right? So 14 targets versus Vegas, 13 targets on 7 receptions versus Cincinnati. I'm not going to count that Bears game. Versus Atlanta, 10 targets, 6 receptions. Okay, Deontay Johnson. If you want to get to him right now, you can get to him on PrizePicks. This number will climb all the way throughout the week. This number, early lines are the best lines. Next guy, can't help it, man. Can't help it, man. It's gonna have to be. You know what it is. Scary Terry, right? So shout out to Scary Terry. He's finally got himself a receiver. And in times he's taking advantage of the possibilities here. So the last 4 games is where they really picked it up. 100 yards versus Cincinnati, 50 yards versus Arizona, 100 yards versus Cleveland, 53 yards versus Baltimore. But he's scoring touchdowns and things of that nature right now as well, right? So he's got a touchdown. He had a touchdown last week. I want to say, I have to go back and look at the end of the day, but this kid here knows how to play the game, right? 8 targets in 4 of his last 5 games, 3 of his last 5 games. The receptions, 2 of his last 3 games, he has 6 receptions or better. Keep in mind, this is the number 1 and the number 2 team in giving up touchdowns to the wide receivers position. Don't have to go there. You don't, right? This is for people who's altering, betting straights, altering, whatever you want to do. This is news that you could use, right? So at the end of the day, take what you like, leave what you don't. I like the number 1 wide receivers for both teams. I like the running backs for both teams, right? Wouldn't be surprised if the number 1 wide receivers got a touchdown along with the number 1 running backs getting a touchdown en route to both teams scoring 1 touchdown in each half. And if you're feeling froggy, you can get both teams to score 2 touchdowns in each half for plus 1160. Kansas City Chiefs, that late window, the only game in that late window on Sunday at 3:25, Super Bowl rematch. Be safe out there, right? I don't bet on a lot of stuff. I probably won't be betting on this game. I don't know maybe later on in the week. This is a candidate though. I'll say that This is a candidate for both teams to score a touchdown in each half. You get the good value on that at plus 120. I think both teams should score a touchdown in each half at a plus 120. If things go wrong, you got 2 touchdowns here for plus 2,300. We'll see what's going to happen, right? We'll see what's going to happen in there. You guys got some plays for that game? Let me know, right? You guys got some plays for that game? Let me know. And then I'll stop right. So the Jets game. So I want to see what's going to happen here. It's going to be the Jets or nothing for me in this spot, first and foremost, right? Justin Fields probably not going to be starting. I mean, it's going to be the Jets or nothing for me. Let's see what the line is here. Minus 120. I would jump on that, not now, but right now, right? Jets. I'm putting the Jets over there. I'm taking the Jets. It's going to be the Jets or nothing for me in the spot. I don't care. I don't care, right? I don't care. So I suggest you jump on that. If you like the Jets, you jump on it now. With Devontae Adams, he's probably going to be playing right away. We'll see. Baltimore Ravens and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game is going to be lit. This game is going to be lit, right? So let me show you. Versus the pass. Baltimore is giving up the most yards to the quarterbacks, right? Baker Mayfield been playing fearless this year. He's got a couple weapons on the outside. This week you can go to Evans this week. Okay, you can definitely go to Evans this week. You can definitely go to Evans this week. Touchdowns here. Baltimore, right here, right? Let's see. Tampa Bay. Either way it go, Baltimore's been vulnerable through the air, right? 11 touchdowns to quarterbacks, whatever the case may be, right? They've been good versus the run, and vulnerable versus receivers here, right? So Tampa Bay versus the run. Tampa Bay, and you can actually combo these guys, right? So Tampa Bay, So Tampa Bay, you know where I can go for Tampa Bay yet? Let me see something. If I'm not mistaken, Tampa Bay. Let me see. Tampa Bay. This is red zone. Explosive plays, red zone. I'm on the red zone. Is it Russian production? I'm gonna just hold that thought right now. But Tampa Bay versus the running backs. So they're looking a little better, right? You know what it was? It was pass catching versus Tampa Bay. Running backs. That's what it was. Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay is a team that does allow you to pass to the running back, right? Now you're gonna get, I don't know, well, you're gonna get somebody like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, his receiving yards are gonna be like less than 10, right? I wouldn't even say it's a risky play. It's a 50-50 play. Like it's either gonna hit or not. When you're taking Derrick Henry yardage, right? Game script, right? So you want to think about game script sometimes, right? So by Baltimore being a little bit vulnerable or just vulnerable versus to wide receivers, that could cause a pass heavy game from Baltimore. Because Tampa Bay, they got Godwin, they've got, and they just put up, I think they just put up 50 points last week. So them boys, they ready to ball. They ready to ball, right? So, and they ready to pass the ball. So, and they got the personnel. If you think that it's going to be a pass heavy script, then in the back of your mind, you need to be thinking about Justice Hill. You know what I'm saying? You need to be thinking about receiving yards, somebody like Henry. Because, two quick strikes, boy, they're going to be passing it, right? Now, I didn't take a look at the run versus the quarterback. And that is concerning, right? Defenses versus the run, bang, quarterbacks though. So that leads me to say somebody like Lamar Jackson, he's going to do, when his team is down, he's going to do what it takes to win the game. Even in a negative in a game script where they have to pass the ball, you got Tampa Bay here, who's given up 4 rushing touchdowns to the quarterback. They're giving up the most rushing attempts to the quarterback, the most rushing yards to the quarterback. You can take a look at Lamar Jackson's rushing yards, possibly a touchdown, everything that goes with that, right? So I didn't put them in my player pool. I'm getting ready to add them right now to see if they got any numbers out to Lamar Jackson. If you want to jump on Lamar Jackson's numbers, I think you need to jump on Lamar Jackson numbers right away, right? So right now, what we're seeing out in the industry right now, and you got prospects, you got underdog, they have passing yards and rushing yards, right? So his passing yards, they got him set at 234.5. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go over that, right? I like that. His rushing yards sitting at 55.5, which this season he's hit this number twice. 55.5, but he's fell short right here. 54 versus Buffalo, 55 versus Cincinnati. So they kind of like putting it right there on the dotted, right? 55 rushing yards. I tell you what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't take the under. Okay, so 55 rushing yards. Take what you like, leave what you don't. I'm gonna add it to my picks. Not gonna pull the trigger yet, but I might pull the trigger today. On one of these sites. It's only so right now you can get his rushing yards only on Prospects right here, and you can get his his passing yards on Prospects and Underdog. So at the end of the day, looking at the defenses versus the run versus the quarterback, as you can see, Tampa Bay is one of the worst teams at defending the run at the quarterback position, and they're one of the worst teams out in pass catching versus the running backs in the flats and things like that, right? So, pass catching running backs, shit like that. Okay, and then when we're looking at, so this is where you can attack some of these teams, and then you're looking at defenses versus the pass or the wide receivers. We know that Jacksonville can be vulnerable. We know that Baltimore can be vulnerable in that area. Okay, so looking at the touchdowns here, Baltimore 11 touchdowns. This is to the quarterback, 298 yards here. You can definitely look at they number one in giving up yards to the quarterback. You can definitely look at Baker Mayfield. He can spread the ball around. He's that's letting you know right now that his passing yards are in play. The receptions here. As you can see, to the running back, to the wide receiver, as you can see, Baltimore top 5 and giving up in yardage. They are top number 4 to yardage to receivers. Okay, so there you have that. Okay, you got Godwin and you're gonna have Evans out there. That game should be box office, right? And that's the 2. They got a doubleheader on Monday. On that Monday, right? Doubleheader on that Monday. Now, the next game, and yes, I have these teams here. Both teams to score a touchdown in each half at plus 112, right? You got to jump on that now. And if you think both of these teams score 2 touchdowns in each half, you get it for plus 1950. Okay. That's the Baltimore game right there. And the Chargers and Arizona game, I don't have nothing for that game yet. Maybe when I do the Monday night game, something like that, whatever the case may be, we'll take a look. But at the end of the day, quick recap here. Some of the best that I got set to the side. Evan Ingram, I'm gonna like his receptions more than his yardage, but I like them both. His yards at 45.5 and receptions should come out at 4.5. You jump right on it. Demario Douglas, if his receptions come out at 3.5, I like it. DeAndre Hopkins, honorable mention. I'll be looking at his receptions at 3.5. If it comes out at 3.5, I'll take it. Tony Pollard, rushing yards are in play. His rushing plus receiving yards are in play, and he's a touchdown candidate. Tyreek Hill, over 54.5 yards. Jalen Waddle, over 39.5 yards. DK Metcalf is in play because he's DK Metcalf, right? Don't know. I didn't bet on him yet. Devontae Smith has hit his receiving line in every game this season. On the side, across from AJ Brown, defenses know they have to pay big attention to AJ Brown. You can look at AJ Brown's longest reception and whatever else you want to look at. T. Higgins on the other side from Jamar Chase. We know who Jamar Chase is. If the defense paying extra attention to Chase, that's good for Higgins. Not only that's good for Higgins, Higgins is already good, right? So I'm gonna continue to ride that train. If his reception props come out at 4.5, I got to have it. 62.5 yards. I haven't been betting his yardage. I've been betting his reception props. So we're waiting on his reception props right now. Amari Cooper is a play that I probably don't advise you to go to, but 50 yards is in play. His reception prop been coming out at 4.5, and he's hit 4 on the head in 3 straight games. So if you want to tease it down to 3.5, be my guest. But I love the spot versus Cincinnati. I love this spot for Deontay Johnson and Terry McLaurin. I think you can take these guys for whatever you want to take them for. Touchdowns, yardage, receptions. Both of these guys. Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin. Tank Dell. I'm looking at Tank Dell for his receptions. Don't know about his yardage right now. We'll see. Lamar Jackson. I like everything about Lamar Jackson. And speaking of Lamar Jackson, I have no choice, right? I'm going to have to throw Baker Mayfield. I got to take a look at what they got for Baker Mayfield. They don't have his numbers out yet. No, I'm typing in the wrong spot. Baker Mayfield. I think you got to jump on these lines right now because these are Monday night games, right? So passing yards for Baker Mayfield, we just went over the numbers, right? That, this team is vulnerable through the air. Now, he went up against Atlanta, 180 passing yards. Denver, good defense. Detroit, Washington took care of his business, did what he's supposed to do. Philly, not a big fan of that Philadelphia secondary. They went in there and aired Philly ass out. And New Orleans went in there and gave them 51 last week. I'm not taking the under on Baker Mayfield's passing yards. I'm gonna put it in my player pool for right now. It's either over or nothing for me. And then, of course, um, right now I need to take another look at, I need to take a deeper look at how I want to attack Mike Evans and in the receiving category. I need to look at the cornerback matchups and stuff like that. I need to take another look at that. But he's a touchdown candidate, okay? He's a touchdown candidate, so I'm gonna put him over there so I don't forget him. And then the God, right? We can't forget about the God. Can't forget about the God. Godwin, right? Monster, just a beast, right? He's been phenomenal this season. He's hit this, his yards is sitting at 68.5. It's creeping up. He's hit this number in every single game except for 2. I'm putting him in my player pool so I don't forget him, but I haven't figured out how I want to play him. At the end of the day, the last thing I'll run down here would be the candidates for both teams to score a touchdown in each half would be Houston, Texas, and Green Bay. I think they can score a touchdown in each half. Seattle and Atlanta Falcons, I think they can score one touchdown in each half. Detroit and Lions and Minnesota Vikings, I think they can score a touchdown in each half. Carolina and Washington, I think they can score a touchdown in each half. And Kansas City and San Francisco, I think they can score a touchdown in each half. And I don't know why I didn't add this. Let me add this in right now because I'm getting ready to bet all of those straight right now, right? So where you will find this bet at, you'll slide over here to scoring, and then you'll come on down here to both teams to score one touchdown. Oh, I got it up there already. And if you think they can score 2, you'll get that at a hefty number at a plus 1950, right? At the end of the day, take what you like, leave what you don't. I'll be back at another later time, a later date, right? Peace out, fam.